Look at those German soldiers. Do you notice anything strange? That's right, they all carry the same corrugated cylindrical container. Well, this container was extremely common, and although the Germans were required to always carry them, no soldier actually used what they contained, which was this container, because it was mandatory to carry it. More importantly, what was inside. Because even though it was so cumbersome and what it contained was never used, the soldiers still had to carry it. In this video, we try to answer these questions and also analyze the opinion of the Germans about this strange cylinder in the way we know best on this channel by investigating in depth. So you'd better get comfortable and be welcome to Guns Club. The container you see is called ZAR 12 Model 1938. Its name was very literal, like everything German. The carrying case was a corrugated cylindrical brass container with fabric or leather straps so that soldiers could carry it. Its size was 27 centimeters long by 11 in diameter, so it generally wasn't very big. But it was big enough to be in the way since it was corrugated. For one reason, so it could be carried more easily by hand. The reason I say its contents were useless is that this container was mainly for holding the soldiers' gas masks system, the M38 mask and later models. Inside, you could find the mask with a single filter, which took up most of the container, an anti-fog cloth to clean the lenses, an instruction manual for you to read carefully when using the mask, cleaner for both the mask and your hands, and also discs. Before replacement, these extra items could go in a bag that was tied to the container. During my research, I found a 1940 statement from the German police about the effectiveness of this container. The letter appears to be instructions for keeping the mask in good condition after some time since its manufacture. The letter says, prolonged storage of the gas mask in its case eventually causes folds to form in the sealing frame, which can compromise its airtightness. Gas masks that do not require permanent storage in their case should, unless tensioners can be attached to them, be left exposed by the strap next to the case or slid over it. To avoid contamination of the mask when storing it uncovered, it is recommended to cover it, for example, with paper and, if necessary, clean it frequently. This is very interesting as it tells us that the Germans took the gas masks out of the container because it could simply get damaged. This fits well with stories that they were often used to store other items. The container was 100% waterproof and shock resistant, making it ideal for storing things like food, fragile valuables, or even commonly cameras were put inside. Another thing he says is that the short shelf life inside the container had to do with the fact that glycerin was no longer used during the manufacturing of. It makes a lot of sense since this material was used in rubber products to give them elasticity and prevent, for example, the masks from drying out, avoiding crystallization or cracking. The Germans stopped using glycerin, probably due to shortages during the mass production of masks to supply, not just to the growing Wehrmacht, but also civilians. They were being prepared both physically and mentally for gas attacks. Apparently, these durability problems caused by the lack of glycerin prompted this entire statement. This durability problem would get worse over the years. When the Germans massively lost territory in 1944, they lost access to materials like natural rubber, oils, and of course glycerin itself. Many of these materials would be replaced with synthetic rubber or Buna, which had worse aging properties. Of course, if they weren't treated properly, as a result, we had the late M38 masks, which could literally become petrified and did so quickly. The boot for crushing the thread, and apparently it was banned after this announcement. I couldn't find the specific reason for prohibiting stepping on the thread with the boot, but personally I think this order was because if you step on the filter, you could still screw the filter onto the mask. Therefore, someone could still get confused and actually use the used filter. There were many models of masks and even more types of filters, but something interesting about them is that they were actually never used by the soldiers. In World War I, gas was a hell that soldiers had to endure every day, chlorine, oxygen, and even mustard gas. More than 1.2 million people were injured or killed by these weapons. These horrible memories remained with the German soldiers. In the future, they would form the High Command of the Third Reich. When the Second World War began, all the armies thought it would be like the first one. Gas is everywhere, even more advanced and, of course, lethal. Because of this, before the conflict began, all the soldiers carried their gas masks in their cylindrical containers out of fear of retaliation. No army actually used these weapons. For example, if England used them, what would stop the Germans from using them on London with V-1 and V-2 rockets filled with gas? That would be a nightmare. Or what if the Germans did? Disaster? Reese, do you want to cool off? And Lederhouse didn't. For their main purpose, nobody wanted to be the first to use them. So if nobody used gas masks, what did the soldiers think about carrying this huge cylinder everywhere, which they never really used? In my research, I found many testimonies about the soldiers' opinions regarding the mask container. The clearest one I found was from the book The Forgotten Soldier by Guy Sahar. Even so, we kept carrying the gas mask canister, even though no one believed gas would ever be used. It was just another useless weight hitting our leg. Or even this one, the gas mask canister rattled by my side as we marched. No one expected gas. The cylinder became a nuisance. I would like to show you the text from the books, but I can't put a screenshot of a paid book, so it's a real shame. These quotes are real and can be confirmed online. These opinions, as you heard, are quite common. If you have been or are soldiers and have walked kilometers with your gear, you know that every extra kilo counts. The container could weigh up to 13 kilograms. Well, a little more or a little less, depending on the mask model, but as I said, every extra kilo counts. And it must have been pretty annoying to carry something they never actually used. As we mentioned before, it was common to take out the mask and use the container to store other things, and that way protect them from water. The cold and its effects might have made things more bearable. It was essential for the soldiers to carry these containers. Did you know the reason behind the baggy pants of the German High Command? In this video, you'll see the answer. Thank you very much for watching this video, and goodbye.